Hello everybody, this is Marvin Ward. I wanted to post a video about my sales experience with the CraigCat company, or more specifically a bad experience. Um, I've known about the company for several years and always thought that their boats were kind of cool and interesting, and admittedly thought someday I might want to have one. So yesterday I was out on my lake here at Lake Anna in Mineral, Virginia, and I saw a CraigCat out on the water. And it sparked my interest again. So I came back to my house and did a Google search and found their website and proceeded to give them a call at about 11:30 yesterday. That would have been June 23rd on 2020. And so I had several questions. One of my questions was shipping included in the cost of the boat? I didn't think that was an unrealistic question. In the continental United States, since they don't have any dealerships, I thought maybe that might be included. And was told that it wasn't. And the gentleman who initially called or answered the call turned me over to a salesman. I didn't catch his name. But anyhow, so when I was talking with this salesman, I started asking about the shipping and stuff and how it was handled. And he proceeded to tell me about the fact that it would come on a flatbed tractor trailer and that the tractor trailer couldn't fit into a subdivision, which I kind of questioned because a big old moving van tractor trailer can fit into the subdivision. They come into my subdivision all the time up in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. So anyhow, he went on to describe that basically the boat and the trailer would be on the flatbed, and the way to get it off would be to have a second truck, a tilt bed truck, so they could roll it off of the flatbed semi onto the tilt bed trailer and then lower it down to the street level with the tilt bed. The tilt bed would tilt down and then they'd roll it off, or somebody would roll it off. But he also said that it needed to be done at a shopping center as opposed to a residential community. And then, I thought everything was fairly cordial up to this point. Of course, I had a boatload of other questions, pardon the pun. But the conversation turned on a dime without me even saying anything at this point. The gentleman who was on the phone basically said that I was making a mountain out of a molehill, and said he didn't have time for this shit, quote unquote shit, and said bye and slammed the phone down. So then this morning, of course, I stewed over this most of yesterday afternoon, thinking, number one, what a response to a customer of any kind. And I wasn't being confrontational. I was merely trying to ask some questions, interested in possibly being a customer and buying their boat. I have a place here at Lake Anna. I rent it out. I quite often make some of my other water toys available to those guests. And I thought the CraigCat would be a nice addition to that. And admittedly, unbeknownst to them, it would have been great exposure for them. People come here, they rent a boat like that. It's affordable. They might have actually gotten a couple sales, extra sales out of it. But instead, the guy was very rude and confrontational, which I didn't think was necessary, considering I was just asking mere little questions. So anyhow, I get back, I stew over it all yesterday afternoon, and finally this morning I said, well, I'm going to write a review because I think that the owners of the company, the Craig family, should know about this. At the time I didn't know who the person was, and I'm still not 100% sure who it was that I spoke to on the phone. But so I composed an email and explained all this in the email and sent it off. And then I went out to Google and I did a search on the reviews of the company. And I did a sort by review because there was a lot. I mean, it wasn't the bulk, but there was more than I was expecting bad reviews. A plethora of good reviews, and that speaks volumes to the quality of the boat. And admittedly, like I said, I think it's a fantastic boat. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun, and I wouldn't have minded owning one prior to all of this experience. But I was dumbfounded at the response of these folks. And this is the owners now, Robert and his son Eric, who are responding to some of the people who were criticizing, not even criticizing necessarily, just basically have issues of some kind or another. And I was dumbfounded at their response to these things. They were calling them names like idiots and morons and things of this nature. I grew up in sales when I was in high school and college, working for various retail establishments. And one of the first things you learn is the customer is almost always right within certain parameters. And you should, if you have a disgruntled customer, you do your best to try and make that customer happy. You don't get confrontational with them and start calling them names and criticizing them. It's just not good business practice. So anyhow, to make a long story short, I'm going to pass on the CraigCat. It's just not worth it. I don't want to give somebody like that my business. I've got a Sea-Doo. I'm happy with that. Maybe I'll get another one. Heck, I don't know. But I'll guarantee you one thing. They won't be getting my business. And I hope that if you're thinking about getting a CraigCat, that you'll do the research on the reviews and make up your own mind as to whether these are the kinds of folks that you want to do business with. For me, it's just not worth it. I thank you for your time, and I hope you have a pleasant experience. Thank you.